Good evening. Before I begin, I want to give a little history here. Silver Creek School Corporation was formed in July of 2020. And over the last 4+ school years, your school board has researched, gathered information, and taken action. And a little timeline here. So in 2020, when we were formed, we had 2,790 students. And skip to the bottom of this slide, we currently stand at 3,157 students. It's about a 13.5% increase. So while your school board has been researching, gathering information, and taking action, we've been growing. And we've been growing at a pace that you don't see throughout Indiana. There's a few places you do, but it's definitely not the norm. And so I want to just briefly hit on the action of the school board. So in 2021, the school board purchased 8 acres adjacent to Silver Creek Primary. And they bought the 8 acres knowing that someday we're going to need an expanded footprint because they saw the growth coming. The growth is here. The growth is going to continue. In 2022, there was a year and a half span where the board had approved 3 high school bid packages. And you see the fruits of that now. As I just mentioned earlier, we opened it up last week. Some of that is still taking place and will continue for the next year plus. But the high school is off and running and meeting not only the current needs of our enrollment and our academic needs, but the future as well. In 2023, the board continued to expand the corporation's footprint where we purchased 2 office buildings adjacent to Silver Creek Middle School. Also in late 2023, we brought on Gibraltar Design to conduct a feasibility study for us. We knew our growth was going to continue, and we knew we had to come up with a plan on not only how to meet that growth today, but also into the future. In early 2024, the board continued to take action. They purchased 22 acres on the west side of the district. That land is still vacant. It's a cornfield as we sit here now. We also have the first right of refusal on an additional 40 acres adjacent to that land. And then for the last year plus, we developed a 5-year strategic plan and started implementing that this school year. And that brings us to this evening where the school board is to consider facility projects. My presentation tonight is a recommendation to the school board after a year plus of a feasibility study and looking at our past growth and projecting forward our growth in the future for the board to consider, not tonight, but to consider at a future meeting on how best to move forward. So for just a second here, I want to focus on, I mentioned our strategic plan. So we developed a vision statement, we developed a mission statement, and our strategic pillars. Part of our mission statement, as I've underlined there, is transparency and accountability. And your school board has done an excellent job of being transparent and being held accountable for what they're charged to do. They're charged to not only educate our children today, but to also plan for the future and be good stewards of our resources. Our strategic pillars, we have 5 of them. And it seemed kind of odd early on that one of them would be strategic planning, but we knew that strategic planning had to be a priority for the school corporation. And so our strategic pillars are academic excellence, culture, safety, communications, and strategic planning. And tonight, we will continue that planning. So I'm going to cover 5 things this evening. This presentation, for those of you taking notes, will be on our website starting here in a couple days. So you can take notes tonight, but no need to do that. We're going to talk about educational needs and primary objectives, our rationale for project planning, going to share a budget estimate, and then final thoughts and next steps. So what are our priorities? 1, we have to accommodate current enrollment at the pre-K through 8 level, as well as future enrollment for pre-K through 8 in our special education. We have to relieve congestion on this main campus if we can. If you've ever driven here at arrival or dismissal, or even for an event in the evening, you know that we don't have a lot of space to spare. And that goes back to the board prioritizing increasing our footprint, not knowing at the time what they were going to do with that increased footprint, but knowing that they had to add things along the way to be prepared for tonight. And we also want to expand district-wide opportunities with the multi-use Fieldhouse. We do not have court space for our extracurricular activities. We rent facilities in our community in order to give that practice space, and we think we can have a multi-use Fieldhouse that will not only serve our ECAs but also be used during the day for academic purposes as well. The rationale of project planning. So as mentioned, we've increased 13.2% since 2020. That's 3.3% a year. We currently are maximizing every area of our schools. We're creative in our existing spaces. Sometimes we find programming and we don't have the flexibility for it with our growing enrollment. If you were in here a month or so ago, you would have saw our elementary STEM team with their equipment back behind the projector here, because this is where they practice. This is also where we do large group meetings with students. We do staff meetings in this room. We do school board meetings in this room. We do whatever we need to get done with the space that we have. We have to increase our classrooms and increase our capacity. So here's a great visual of our current enrollment. The primary school, which houses pre-K through 1, is currently 20% above capacity. Now, I want to stress, it's not a safety issue. We're able to do it. But again, we don't want a capacity that just gets by. We want to make sure we have the optimal capacity for our students to learn and our teachers to teach. Our elementary school currently houses grades 2 through 5. It's 5% above capacity. Our middle school, grades 6 through 8, is 21% above capacity. Enrollment projections, if we continue at 3+% per year, and I've been here for over 3 years, and I've been saying for 2 years we can't sustain it, but we have. So I'm going to quit saying that. But no, that's one of the best things about a public school system, is we don't turn kids away. We don't want to turn kids away. We take all kids, all families. And that's one of the best things about a public school corporation. So as we sit here today with 3,206 kids this fall, fast forward 5 years, 3,762 kids. Fast forward another 5 years, 4,363 kids. So we need space today. If you've driven around any of our schools, we have 4 portable classrooms at the high school. Yes, that's being taken care of. The high school, as you'll see as part of this presentation, is not being mentioned other than what I've already mentioned it so far. If you go to our primary school, we have 2 portable classrooms. So we are full today, and we anticipate hopefully not 3%, but it might be 3%. It could be less, it could be more. Project to meet needs. So what am I proposing here this evening? 1, we need to look at our grade level reconfiguration to increase our student capacity, not only today, but into the future. We need to add an addition to the primary school. We will continue to house, if done, we would continue to house pre-K through grade 1. We just need more space for those grade levels. We would ultimately like to develop a robust pre-K in order to meet those needs of those children of those ages. The proposal calls for building a new elementary school on the 22 acres on the west side of the district. That would be grades 2 and 3 to expand our student capacity and relieve crowding here at the elementary. Now, it may seem odd on the surface, why are you building a 2-grade school? Well, because that's all we need. You want to spend double the money, you could build a bigger school. But based on the information we've collected, building a 2-grade level school will take care of us for years to come. By doing both of those things, expanding the primary and building a 2-grade level school, it requires minimal work here at the elementary and minimal work at the middle school. And I'll get into the next slide on what those grade level configurations look like on paper. We also need to prioritize our district-wide improvements, our preventative maintenance. So as we're needing to expand schools, as we're needing to build a school, we also have to take care of what we already have. There's going to be roofs that need to be updated and replaced. There's going to be HVAC systems. So we need funds for that. And then the multi-use Fieldhouse on this main campus to support current needs and additional programming. Now, where are we going to put the Fieldhouse on this main campus? Well, once construction is complete at the high school, and once we, at some point, we don't know what yet, but at some point, if we do something with our transportation center, we will have the available space to do that without replacing one traffic congestion with another. So the solution to meet needs, the primary school remaining pre-K through 1, expanding, goes from 20% over capacity to about 20% under capacity. What that means is we have room for growth. Build the new school, grades 2 and 3. Once it opens, it would be approximately 15% below capacity. Again, what's that mean? We have room for growth. Elementary school becomes grades 4, 5, and 6. That instantly creates capacity here at the elementary school. It goes from 5% over capacity to about 20% under capacity. And then the middle school becomes grades 7 and 8. It goes from 21% over capacity to about 20% under capacity. So this slide here shows us how do we take care of our current needs and how do we prepare for the future. And I go back to, and I want to say it 100 times this evening, your board has been planning and gathering information and taking action. They saw the future of what they might need, and they've prepared for it, and the future is now. So, main campus configuration. We currently support 11 grade levels. We educate approximately 2,700 students, or 85% of our enrollment. We have 350 staff members and vehicles, 43 buses, 53 athletic teams that practice here and play here, and about 300 plus or minus car riders. If you're wondering why our campus is congested, there's your numbers. You build a new elementary school, 2 grade levels, do the conversions as I just mentioned. You maximize your space. You further reduce daily and evening traffic around the buildings by removing 2 grade levels from this main campus, approximately 20 staff members, their vehicles, 450 students, 100 car riders, and plus or minus 6 buses. Primary school addition, classrooms for pre-K. Again, one of our priorities is a robust pre-K. Results in 30 classrooms each grade, kindergarten, first grade, and flex classrooms. Return our classrooms to original purpose of art and music. Right now, our art and music are on carts and don't have their own classroom for kids. Again, that's a priority. And then as we sit here now, the cafeteria, the gymnasium space would be appropriate with that expansion. New school, grades 2 and 3, 12 classrooms per grade level, 2 special education classrooms, 2 additional flex classrooms, related arts programming, and additional gym space. And the key here, the underlined portion of this slide, is it will be designed for additional grade levels or for those grade levels that are there to become bigger in the future. Again, our guiding priorities. 1, how do we take care of our current demands, and how do we make sure that we're planning for the future? Elementary school, grades 4 through 6. Today's numbers, 4th graders, 10 classrooms, 5th and 6th graders, 10 classrooms as well. This leaves 2 flex rooms for each grade. Proposed student enrollment for grades 4 through 6 is 675 students. Again, minimal to no work needed to serve these 3 grade levels. And very similar to the middle school, once we move 6th grade over here, again, minimal to no work needed to serve grades 7 and 8. Multi-use Fieldhouse would allow for more co-curricular, athletic, and extracurricular student activities and opportunities at all grade levels before, during, and outside of the school day. We have teams and activities taking place well into the night, every night of the week, almost, to where, because we simply do not have the physical space to house everything. This field house would also be used, as our other facilities are now, for community groups to use it. They do a facility request now, be very similar. This portion of the proposed projects still needs to be tweaked and refined, but we want to definitely get it on our plans so that it doesn't fall through the cracks, because our space is limited. What does this field house possibly look like? 2 or 3 basketball courts, 2 or 3 lane walking track, multi-purpose fitness room, a weight room, additional restrooms and locker rooms. It will serve both indoor and outdoor events, and of course, as I said, located here on the main campus. Preventative maintenance, again, site improvements, sidewalks, playgrounds, HVAC, roofing, just anything that we need to repair and keep things up to date, because as much as we need to expand our current facilities or build a new facility, we will continue to prioritize taking care of what we have, and we've done a phenomenal job of doing that, and we will continue to do so. Overview of budget. So the primary school addition, the new elementary, the existing elementary and middle school renovations, priority-driven district-wide improvements, and a multi-use field house. When you add up the preliminary construction cost and soft cost, it comes to $62,860,000. In order to do this, we will need taxpayer support. So I recommend to the board that next May 2025, we put a referendum on the ballot in order to generate a bond issue for $62,860,000. That is a 41.5-cent property tax increase. This table, if you looked at the left side, your gross assessed value, the annual impact and monthly impact, the average house in our school district is $268,500. The proposal is the annual impact of taxes would be $595.52, or $49.63 a month. And of course, that's the average. So in theory, half the houses are less, half the houses are more. And I don't need to read through the entire table for you. Again, this will be on our website. Should the board take action to initiate this, then I will make myself available. I will conduct community meetings and answer as many questions as I can for you. Next steps. So tonight, school board review of final projects. I recommended the board on November 19th, they take the first step to initiate getting the funds to fund this project. I will ask them to adopt a resolution. On December 10th, we'll have a special board meeting for project hearing number 1. December 17th, the regularly scheduled board meeting for project hearing number 2. And on May 6, 2025, I recommend that we put a referendum on the ballot. If the board chooses to move forward, this will be a special election, and we'll go through the process of getting that done. Thank you for supporting your Silver Creek schools. We appreciate you.